Story of Saints. December 1st is the feast day of a recently canonized saint, Saint Charles de Foucauld. De Foucauld was born in 1858 in Strasbourg, France to a wealthy Catholic family. At the age of 6, both of his parents died and de Foucauld was taken under the care of his grandfather. As a result, de Foucauld inherited an exorbitant amount of money that he started spending them lavishly. He would spend money on expensive food, parties, and sexual pleasures which gradually grew him away from his Catholic faith. Around the age of 20, de Foucauld seeks a more adventurous life, so he decided to join the military. In the military, de Foucauld continued to live a life of simple pleasure, paying for expensive parties and sleeping with many women. Eventually his military captain discovered that de Foucauld was neglecting his training to sleep with women, which led to his dismissal from the army at the age of 24. Still chasing the thrill of an adventure, de Foucauld heard news of a dangerous expedition to Morocco, so he went, dressed as Jew to fit in with the local while inconspicuously taking notes of their way of life. He was eventually caught and robbed of all his wealth. Upon his return to France at the age of 28, dressed like a beggar, de Foucauld found his way back to the faith and joined a Trappist monastery at the age of 32. He spent the next 7 years as a Trappist monk, but even here he did not find what he was looking for, so he left the monastery to become a hermit in Nazareth, hoping to grow closer to Jesus by walking where he had walked. It was here that de Foucauld met the poor clerks who allow him to do manual labor for lodging. After 4 years, de Foucauld discovered his calling to live a life in poverty and humility like Jesus, but he not only wanted to experience the life of Jesus, but to also share it with others. At the age of 43, de Foucauld returned to France to become a priest so that he could establish his own community. After his ordination, de Foucauld returned to Morocco, the place that had previously rejected and robbed him of everything he had, in order to bring the love of Jesus to these souls that never knew God. Here de Foucauld spent the next 15 years holding Mass, praying before the tabernacle, and translating the Bible to the language of the native. Despite his efforts in connecting with the local, in all 15 years, he was not able to convert a single soul and was instead killed by the same people he tried to convert. In one of his diary entry recovered alongside his body, he wrote, "Is my presence here doing any good? If it does not, the presence of the Most Holy Sacrament certainly does it greatly. Jesus cannot be in a place without shining forth." His efforts was not in vain, as a few years after his death, the simple rule he wrote called Life of Nazareth was published and adopted by multiple religious communities today. Saint de Foucauld is the definition of unwavering trust. Despite not converting a single soul in 15 years of talking to the locals, he remained adamant that the presence of the Eucharist and daily prayers will eventually lead to positive results. As we celebrate his feast day today, let us remember that we choose God not because he will give us great things in this world, but because we believe that by imitating his life of holiness, we will receive a much greater reward after death. Let us take this moment to recite his prayer of abandonment, surrendering ourselves entirely to the will of God. Father, I abandon myself into your hands. Do with me what you will. Whatever you may do, I thank you. I am ready for all. I accept all. Let only your will be done in me, and in all your creatures. I wish no more than this. O Lord, into your hands I commend my soul. I offer it to you with all the love of my heart, for I love you, Lord, and so need to give myself, to surrender myself into your hands, without reserve, and with boundless confidence, for you are my Father. Amen.